Hey everyone, my name is Danilo Petrovic.
I'm Ilya Marchenko.
I'm Denis Kudla.
I'm Evgeny Donskoy.
I'm Henry Laaksonen.
I'm Peter Torebko, and you're listening to the Game to Love podcast.
Hey, welcome back, tennis fans. It's been a dramatic 24 hours down under in the Australian Open, and we did get to see that man, the 20-time Grand Slam champion, Rafael Nadal, rolling back the years, it would seem, and fighting in the face of adversity to knock out Denis Shapovalov in 5 sets. We thought that he was potentially going to lose after losing set 3 and 4, but somehow he found the will from within and ended up winning in 5. How you doing, JG? You all right?
Yeah, very good. I've recovered a little bit. I've just woken up after another little hour siesta. I'm just having little bits and spells here and there. But I feel fresh. I'm ready to go again for more Australian Open drama. John did a great job as well. Go check out the Silk Report if you haven't seen it earlier. And he did a really good in-depth analysis of the match against Shapovalov, and then about 40 minutes or 30 minutes on all the other matches. I thought that was pretty good. My take on it, I'm a bit surprised it went to 5. I'm surprised the level Shapo was able to produce in spells. I thought he was really good. And I'm also surprised Rafael Nadal was able to still win it in 5 when clearly physically he wasn't there.
No.
Like we saw it sort of in the 3rd set, I felt. He just didn't look the same player at all. Physically couldn't compete. We wasn't sure whether it was his foot, wasn't sure if he had a stomachache. It turns out it just seemed to be a bit of heat stroke, like you suggested on the stream. He couldn't handle the heat of the conditions and we know he sweats more than any other player. And physically, he just felt very unwell. And I forget what was his turn of phrase he said after the match.
He
said, "I feel not demolished, devastated." Devastated.
Oh, I think it was destroyed, wasn't it?
Destroyed. He said, "I feel destroyed." Pretty much the same thing as demolished or whatever.
Yeah.
He was struggling. He was struggling, and he felt himself that he is relieved he was able to do it, and he was so happy to get into the semi-final. I, for one, am relieved and so happy he's made it, because there was many times I wasn't sure he was going to, and I think in that 5th set there was a sort of a hint of luck there about it. He just had a little opportunity to get the break. Shapo had sort of one off moment, and then Shapo just didn't use his intelligence for me. He just kept going to the well, kept going for these big shots, the low percentage shots, and they were missing more than ever in the 5th set. And I just feel like, when's he going to learn to use a little bit more intelligence and a bit more nous to understand the situation he's in? Rafa's struggling. I don't think he necessarily needed to do what he did and make all them unforced errors. No. Maybe if he sort of, what about if because physically he looked pretty good and quite well. The younger guy as well. Why don't he try and elongate the rallies? Try and keep it longer. Keep Rafa out there longer and make him have to make the shots.
Or drop shots maybe, or do something a bit different to make Rafa run a bit more, because Rafa wasn't really moving that much, Rafa, in that.
Well, it was quick points. It's all quick points. I don't even think drop shots. I think just play it a bit safer. Yeah. Lower percentage shots. Make Rafa make decisions. But listen, I don't care. I'm happy he went full Shapo mode, because it means my man Rafael Nadal is into the semis. But shout out guys in the live chat. Great to see so many there. Good to see so many Rafa fans as well. I can see Ollie Patone. I think who else is there? Is Kaz a Rafa fan? I did see Sam as well earlier.
As well, yeah.
It's great to see you guys, and I'm really proud for you, and just feel happy and overjoyed, because I know how much it means to all of you guys. And this is a great day for all us Rafa fans out there.
Yes, it's nice to see Rafa back in a semi-final on a hardcore Grand Slam. But this heat stroke thing, though, I was sort of alluding to it at the time during the match. It was the only sort of thing that I could put my finger on. I mean, what other reason could there be? I mean, it was so hot. I know that we had John. He was saying that Krejcikova, she was really struggling in her match as well, and that was probably alluded to why she lost her match in the end. And somehow Rafa dug in. I mean, I know what heat stroke's like. I think I've only had it once in my life before, but it is horrible. And it makes you feel like physically like nauseous and sick. Like, and to the point where you can't even really move sometimes. And that's how I felt when I like was suffering with it. So for him to be running around on a tennis court in 35 degrees and still trying to play through it, I have no idea how he was still going, even with an ice towel for a minute or a bit of air blowing in his face. It's debilitating. And so that just goes to show you mental strength, like mind over matter. It's just, yeah, it's amazing.
I get goosebumps talking about it. Rafa and his fighting attributes, they motivate me in a lot of aspects of my life, if I'm honest. Watching him do that, you can relate that to not just tennis, but every sort of thing you apply yourself. He works to the very end. He takes every point seriously. I try and model a lot of my sports on Rafa. Whatever it is, I try and do my best. And that's why I'm pretty competitive. Not always the best loser, I must admit, but that's how I can improve. We've got Gene with a super chat off stream. Cheers, mate. He's saying, and it sort of brings on to the big talking point. Of course, a lot of you are here to find out our thoughts on, does Rafael Nadal receive special treatment? We're going to talk about that now. And this is what Gene has to say. If you want to have your say, send in the super chat and we can read it out. We have, I don't think Rafa got special treatment. He got treated within the rules because it was a heat stroke. I get Shapoval's frustration about it. I don't think he knew the severity of the condition at all. But also, I can understand Shapoval's frustration because you are supposed to play within the speed of the server. In my opinion, you can make an argument for both sides. Don't think anybody is right here. I think that's a really good, well-balanced answer from Gene. What do you think?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it's a real grey area. Obviously, we had the serving thing was the main argument within the first set. He was unhappy that Rafa was sort of going over the time limit or making him wait when he was down the other end when he was about to serve as well. And he went all the wrong way about it for my liking, though. There's certain ways you can go about things, but some of the choice words he came out with to say to the umpire, I don't think you can take that approach. There's been some people come out saying that you can handle it better. I mean, some people have said he was maybe doing it just to make the umpire aware, so that he would make more of a hard stance when it happened again. Which obviously Rafa got a violation. I think it was later. I'm not sure which set it was in, like a lot later in the match. But you can't be calling people corrupt and or the officials this type of thing and say that it's all of them against you or it's like the big players against them.
That's a mistake. Him going to that extremes. The whole indication of him saying that it's corrupt is wrong. But there's a part of what he said I do agree with. And this could surprise some people in the chat. I will be getting to that super chat in a second when it just sort of the time feels right. Or maybe we'll just go for it now. So we've got Rue Banata here saying, JG incapable of humility. You went in on Steph, 3 minutes, bathroom break, post-Murray comment. Rafa, 11 minutes. Cater to his every whim. Sinister. For a start, it wasn't 11 minutes, right? It was about 7 minutes.
7 minutes, I believe it was counted at. Because
and I saw 6.5 minutes on the stream. This is what I remember. And that was from when the last ball was hit. So that's not when he necessarily left the court. And Rafa's explained, there's a man literally outside the bathroom saying 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute. He was well within all of the rules. He didn't break any rules, Rafael Nadal. He didn't break any rules with him going to change his clothes. You've got to understand, Rafa was sweating he sweats more than anyone. And I understand he was well within his rights to go change his clothes. That was totally cool. But the part of it where I can see what Shapo's saying is on the main sort of topic. Does he receive special treatment? I think they do. I think they all do. And when I say that they all, I mean the big three. I know Rafa come out and decline that, but my opinion is I think they do receive special treatment. And the reason I say that is because Djokovic, Federer, and Nadal, specifically, if you target them, I feel like they do get away with a lot more than some of the other players. And that is something you can criticize or you can say whatever you want about it. I think they've kind of earned the right to get a little bit. I don't think it's going to dictate matches to a level where they're talking about. It's not like they get a one set head start or they get a few extra points in a match. It's very, very, very minute. I think with Rafa, he is sort of afforded a little bit more time with shot clocks at times, but a lot of the times he does get called out for it as well. And I don't think it's too drastic, this special treatment. I don't put it this way. Rafael Nadal did not win this match because of special treatment.
No, I don't think
he won this match because Shapovalov couldn't keep his cool and struggled to use his intelligence in the 5th set. Because ultimately he played like someone who clearly does not have the mental capacity to beat one of these big players. All he kept doing is bashing the ball around rather than actually thinking about what he's doing.
Well, he was playing a broken man in the 5th set, unfortunately. And even though Nadal did take some time, obviously, suffering with heat stroke, going for a toilet break. As you can see there on the screen, it says you're allowed a 3-minute toilet break with an additional 2 minutes for attire, only once per match during the set break, plus a medical timeout of 3 minutes. Also, during a set break, allowed once. Nadal totaled 7 minutes. So I think he's done everything within the rules, and I think that's the key here. Is people are saying it's like that's for me not preferential treatment. Anything that he had, like he was visibly struggling on court, you could see it. Like that was
made up. It's not one of these sort of gamesmanship toilet breaks or medical timeouts. You could honestly see it in his tennis. Like he had some kind of heat stroke. He wasn't physically able to compete. He come out. He's a pretty honest man, Rafa. Listen, I know everyone's got their own sort of ideas and biases with tennis players and who they like. You've got to be honest. The guy looked broken. He was struggling. That's the reason he took it, and he was sweating. He needed to change his clothes.
He was struggling for the air. You see how he looked for me like he was panicking a bit, like because of the situation as well. He was saying, "Can you get me the like ice towels like now, like quickly?" Then he had the ice towel, and he kept on trying to hold the aircon tube near his face whilst trying to put the ice towel. It looked like he was really struggling. I've not seen Rafa like that ever in hot conditions. It was a bit bizarre. I thought it had to be that. That's why I thought it had to be something to do with the heat, nothing else. And Chapo, credit to him, didn't affect him at all. He looked like he could have probably gone for another set, 2 sets. He looked fit as a fiddle.
Yeah. Yeah, so shows where he's at with his fitness. But let's have a look at the main article, and we'll go through some of it.
Sure.
We sort of had our view, but let's see some of the stats or some of the actual quotes from both of the players. The title there from BBC saying about preferential treatment for Nadal. And this is what Chapo had to say. So Rafael Nadal was 100% given preferential treatment by umpires this is what he said after he lost to, I think it was in the presser after the match. Shapovalov was unhappy with the amount of time he thought Nadal was taking between points and twice complained to umpire Carlos Bernardes. I think it's unfair how much Rafa is getting away with, said Shapovalov. In reply, 35-year-old Nadal said, I believe he is wrong in this case. He's come out and flat out and sort of declined the fact that he gets preferential treatment. Of course, he's going to do that. No surprises.
No.
But I do think there is kind of a little bit of preferential treatment. I feel we've seen this so many times. I feel like they are a little bit scared of Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic, especially at their own slams, respectively. Djokovic at Wimbledon, I feel like he gets a lot of preferential treatment at times. Nadal at Roland Garros, there is a little bit of preferential treatment again. Federer at Wimbledon, there's a lot of. There just seems to be. I've seen different things before, and I think would another player get away with it? Probably not.
No, I don't.
I don't think it's to the level what people are making out.
I think the main one, which
they've kind of earned the right to be there, in my opinion.
I think it's highlighted even more the Rafael Nadal preferential treatment is just because of the sort of the change in the eras of tennis as well. Because Chapo and all of the new lot who are coming up, we know how long all of the old breed take to serve all the time. They take up the whole 30 seconds, maybe plus a little bit. And this is where it's going wrong. You see what Norrie does? He goes up, bang, done. Chapo probably similar, boom, through the legs, bang. Like they're all quick serving, fast pace,
pretty
quick serving, fast paced. That Medvedev 1 minute service games, and that's what he tends to do. Rafa, the amount of times we've seen the shot clock run out and then he's serving. Like, I don't like seeing it disappear off the screen and then he's throwing it up. Like, that is where you're pushing your luck a bit. Like, because, and well, John alluded to, he was lucky that the sun was like, had obviously like glaring. Probably Chapo couldn't see the shot clock for the last set. So if he had done, well, he did get a violation though. So he did get one warning about the time he was taking. And I think that is, but you've also got to take into account this new towel thing as well, because this is what a lot of players are using as their excuse for why they're taking so long now. They have to go and get their own towel and then they have to come back again. Surely 30 seconds is enough to go to the towel and come back and serve, though, you would think. But
Trevor and Ben with a super chat. He says,
cheers.
Competitors fed up with the compulsions. Nadal wastes so much time, bottles, bouncing, towel, hair scratches, nose, so much more. Stop indulging this. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I mean, it's all of these individual little ritualistic little pieces that he has when he goes onto the court, which all of his fans love, by the way, and it's like part and parcel of going to watch Rafa. If he just went up and served, the Rafa fans would be like, "Is there something wrong with him? He's not doing his normal. Wait, that one, this one, that one, whoop, there," and then we finally get the serve. I think that he just needs to just make sure he do it. If there's 1 second left, no problem. I said it during the match.
Listen, Ben, of course he does. He's most of the time, 99% of the time, he's within the time limit.
He was within 8 seconds on one.
Because, yeah, it's just because he's always very close to it that people seem to have an issue. And sometimes he does go over it. It's not always called, I agree. The one thing I would say about this whole preferential treatment is, are you surprised that he's taken so long on his serves? Like, he's done this his whole career. All of these routines you do is the same every single match.
The reason it was brought in was
just be prepared for it.
No, but the reason it was brought in was because of people like him. That's the whole reason that the shot clock exists. Like, before they didn't, and he used to take longer. And this is why we have it there to stop him taking longer. Because even a 3-set Rafa match takes like 3 hours. Like,
Djokovic
some of the other
same. Djokovic does the same.
I know this one. All of those other old school players do. Federer maybe not so much. He has such a fluid service action. It just literally
okay. What about Chapo then? How do you explain this? Because we've got Eddie in saying Chapo has taken 29 seconds on his serve.
Maybe it was just like a little tit for tat. I don't know. Who knows? Like, this is the problem, because he's doing it. Chapo's then going to push the boundaries the other way, and it's just, as long as you're within the 30 seconds, I don't have a problem with it. I just think if it goes like we saw in the other match, I think it was the women's match. I think it's Steyer. It went, the shot clock went. And then it took 4 seconds for her to serve. No one said anything. She didn't get a time violation. Why? And there should be something that the umpire, it just goes in their ear or something, and they go, no, time violation. And then they're strict with it. There seems to be wishy-washy, this rule.
I think the issue is not necessarily goes over the time limit. It's when they start the clock as well.
As
well. A lot of people. So we've got Trevan here saying people on TikTok are saying he stays in the chair longer than the others on his serve, and they allow him to do all of this, whereas they call others out 15 seconds quicker. And this is where I think some of the preferential treatment does come in, if you know what I mean. It's what these players do. Nadal in this case is he just uses and elongates the length of when it should start. So he will stay in his chair a little bit longer. I feel like sometimes the umpires don't start the shot clock until when they should. There seems to be a few delays there. They're sort of always buying him a little bit of time. That's where, listen, that's not completely right. I agree. But it is what it is. And that's just the way it is with how it is. I think it is a little bit of preferential treatment. And that's why I'm coming out. I'm a big Rafa fan, but I do see that. I see the same for Djokovic. I see the same for Federer. I look at someone like a Daniel Medvedev, and I think he does get a hard bargain at times. And that's why he does get very frustrated. I think Kyrgios sometimes gets a very hard bargain as well. And he's got, because of his persona and the way he is, he does get judged a lot quicker before he's even done something sometimes. He's got a bad name for himself, and he's always going to sort of be punished. But looking at sort of Daniel Medvedev, he's someone who's not even getting on Rod Laver Arena at the moment. It just seems that's not quite right, is it? And I think we've got Rebecca Brown, one of our members. Shout out to you. saying poor Medvedev begged for a bathroom break in his last match and was told no. But then Nadal takes a medical timeout and combines it with a bathroom break, and it's no issue. It's not equal.
Yeah,
you are allowed to do that in the rules, though. Nadal didn't break the rules with that. We've already touched on that. But why wasn't Medvedev allowed when it doesn't seem to be consistent? And that's the issue with all sports. You need if you have rules, they need to be consistent throughout for everyone.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if that is the case.
And this is, well, you got to have the rules that are all the same for everyone. And there's part of me that part of these rules should be in the scheduling as well, because there's something. This is the one thing that which is part of this preferential treatment saga, let's call it. It's only a mini saga, but Rafael Nadal playing, was it 4 or 5 of his matches in the daytime and only 1 in the night session, when he's famously been bad in night sessions in Australia in the past. And Medvedev not even been playing on Rod Laver Arena. Berrettini's played more times on Rod Laver than Medvedev, who is the top seed of the whole entire tournament, which for me, crazy. But I went and did like a small bit of digging, because obviously we can't just look at Rafael Nadal, because Roger Federer's had this type of problem in the past as well. Back at the US Open in 2019, journalists questioning Roger Federer, saying, do you not think that you're getting preferential treatment, like you're playing your matches at this certain time? And he said, look, I'm fed up with this. Beep. Like, even swore at the reporters, like, you every time you come in here, you're saying that I'm coming into the tournament and I'm telling them when I should be playing. No, this isn't decided by me. He said, it's decided by the TV stations. This is decided by the tournament organizers. If they decide they want me on in prime time, that is their decision. He said, I'm happy to play at 4 a.m. in the morning if you want to put me on, but they want their ratings. They want this and that. It's up to them where they put these players on. And I think that in Australia right now, obviously they want Rafa as deep in the tournament as possible. I don't think Rafa said anything. I don't think he's gone, well, he's going to have that. They've probably said, Rafa could get to the semis here. Like, if we give him a few day slots, like, he'll probably get through. So they've probably done it. He hasn't probably had to ask, but they're thinking the TV ratings for the semis is probably, or the final, if he gets there, is going to be so huge that it's worth the risk of putting him on during the daytime all the time. Don't know.
Listen, I think it's some good points you make, if I'm honest. Let us know in the chat, guys, what you think. Gene's in with Super Chat saying Carlos Bernardes is one of the worst umpires too.
Harsh words from Gene. I quite like the umpires.
We've got Marvin in, a new member, saying they drag Tsitsipas for taking the bathroom break at the US Open, but not Rafa. Consistency is the key, JG.
How long was his bathroom break, though, at the US Open? Wasn't it about 10 or 11 minutes?
I feel like Tsitsipas had a very long one. I felt like it was happening every single match. We kind of knew what he was doing. It didn't seem like he ever had physically any issues. It was just routine. And it sort of happened after Djokovic did the same to him when he was down 2 sets in Roland Garros final.
How interesting, though, in his last match, though, against Taylor Fritz, no bathroom breaks in the 5 sets and won the whole match.
Yeah.
There you go.
Maybe he's never needed them. But with Nadal in this situation, he generally does need them. I'm not just saying that as a Rafa fan. I'm trying to be as unbiased as possible, but he did need them. You see how much the guy sweats? He needed to change all his clothes. He couldn't even play like it. So I don't think he necessarily cheated, but there is fine margins. I think it is very it's minimal. It is very, very minute. It's not, I don't think it's going to really dictate matches so much. Players know what to expect when they're playing against Rafael Nadal. Same with Djokovic and all the others. You've got to still go out there and play your best tennis to beat them. Chapo, I don't think his mind was in the right place. He was too distracted by everything and not focused on the job at task. And that's what cost him the match. No bathroom breaks, nothing else. It was down to Chapo why he lost.
Yeah, and one thing I want to bring up just before we read out Banch, thanks for the super chat again. Appreciate that. If we rewind, obviously we can speak about Chapo as well in the same light, because I know that he's going after Rafa here, and it's easy to use the big 3 thing about, oh, you're taking a medical time out at this time. You're taking a toilet break at this time. During the 4th set, I've just come back from 2 sets to love down. Well, guess what? Yannick Sinner came back against you the same sort of. It was obviously earlier in the tournament, but he did the exact same thing in a Grand Slam to Yannick Sinner. He took a medical timeout. There was no way he needed one. Or Chapo.
Okay.
And there was just, and then he went, and Yannick Sinner was barely walking around the court, and then he found another lease of life. It was like he came back, and then you were thinking,
Chapo does regularly do this,
and then he did it to him.
Can't be a hypocrite.
And it just seemed like, oh, what? Because he's coming back now. What, you're gonna like stop his like momentum, let's say, and then that was what helped Chapo go through. And yeah, just I just think it's just not fair. You've got to remember what you've done in the past before you criticize other people.
Even though Rafa wasn't doing it for gamesmanship, I stand by that as well. Buster's another one who comes out and criticized Djokovic for doing that to him when he does the same thing as well. So you've got to be a bit consistent as a player, coming out and moaning at people when you do the exact same thing. And in this case, I don't think Nadal necessarily did anything too badly wrong. I think sometimes the time it takes to serve, that's an argument I can have. The toilet break, I don't really see any issues in it, if I'm honest. I don't think it was well within the rules. We've already discussed that. So what's the issue? I think everyone needs to just accept it.
It's like 3 or 4 hours into a match. You can have a toilet break, can't you?
Yeah. Did we read Vanch's thing out?
No.
No. I don't think we did.
Did you just get rid of it?
Sorry. I want to see Med and Sit take a bathroom break. And if the umpire says no, just pressure them by saying Rafa is in the tunnel. He thinks it's fine.
Well, if it's the same umpire, that's when
Listen, Vanch, if we see, I don't think we've seen really loads of concrete. You can't bring me a real concrete example of where it's happened. I know people are saying Medvedev in that match and this and that. There's never been anything really clear for this. I do believe there is a level of preferential treatment, but it's not been that blatant like you're suggesting there. And if it was, I would come out and fully back the players who aren't being allowed what, say, Djokovic or Rafa is getting themselves. But let's keep moving on. Anything more? I think we'll continue with this. I'll let you keep reading.
So we have Shapovalov lost in 5 sets to the 20-time Slam champion at Melbourne Park, having fought back to level after going 2 sets down. At the start of the second set, Shapovalov asked Bernardes to give a time violation to the 6th seed. When the official did not see fit to do so, Shapovalov shouted, "You guys are all corrupt."
Yeah, you can't say that.
So, yeah, I mean, that was... Well, he said he misspoke. Well, I think it's pretty clear. I'm sure that was not misspeaking. That's probably what's going through his mind. Probably what's going through a lot of other players' minds. I don't think he's probably the first person who's thinking that this thing... He's just probably one of the first people who's coming out on court saying it. Got to be careful. He might get a fine or something. I don't know. I don't know if all the repercussions of this type of thing. I guess it's down to the umpire's discretion whether he goes and forces through something like that after the match, because some can take more offense than others with umpires. Obviously, if you're swearing on court and stuff like that, you end up getting a straight fine, things like that. Sometimes umpires can be a little bit more lenient, though. It seems like he has been so far, from what I'm hearing. So there you go. Next bit. Players are allowed 25 seconds between points and 2 minutes between sets, all timed by a shot clock. Seems pretty straightforward, doesn't it?
Asked whether he thinks Nadal receives preferential treatment. Shapovalov said, of course, 100% he does. 100%. Every other match that I have played, the pace has been so quick because the refs have been on the clock after every single point. So he's talking about how it takes Rafa so long. He's always done this. He takes a long time. He uses the maximum time available to him. Sometimes you can argue he does go slightly over, or he's given a bit extra because they've not started the clock at the right time and all of this. You know what to expect with Rafa. You still got to beat him and play. You just got to... He does it in a way which I think is just within the rules. It's a very fine line. Sometimes he crosses it. But Shapovalov, deal with it. That's not the reason you lost. Yeah, but you was well within it. You won 2 sets as well.
Would this be a thing would we be talking about this if Shapo had won? That's what
of course we wouldn't.
This is it. Like, if he'd have won and just come out in that 5th set rather, and played like he did in the 4th set, I think that this would all be no news. This wouldn't be even news. He would just be like, Rafa would say, well done, you played really well. I had heat stroke. I got tired. He'd be like, sorry what I said to the umpire in the 1st set. Everyone forgot about it. There you go. Done. On to the next round.
This makes me laugh. Hinal Patel in the chat. Nadal can never be wrong, according to JJ.
Never.
Funny one.
Right.
Obviously, that's not true.
Right, we've got I'm completely ready to play and the clock is ticking. 3, 2, 1 towards 0. I'm looking at the umpire and obviously I'm going to speak up and say something. I've been ready to play for 1.5 minutes and he tells me he's not going to give him a code violation because I'm not ready to play. To me, it's a big joke if somebody says that. There's the meeting at the net of the two players. That was quite an interesting one in the first set. Though he comes
nice
to the
image. I don't think it was that bad, to be fair. The meet at the net.
It wasn't, but just
this is at the end of the match, no?
No, that was when he came to the net at the first set. Like, well, just after he was complaining, and he was making a big thing of it. He was just stopping. That's the weirdest thing about the whole thing. The whole hypocritical thing of you're taking so long. Chapo stopped the whole match to make this point as well. So he stopped all play stopped while Chapo complained about the whole thing. Came to the net. Nadal was like, "What's going on? I'm going to come to the net as well." Like he comes to the net. He's like, "What's wrong, man? Like what's?" And he's like, trying to say to him, "Look, you're just taking so long. Like, what are you doing? Like, I know what you're doing." It's like you're getting like special treatment. He's like, I've not got special treatment. And then they ended up going back to the other end of the court again. It was a bit bizarre, to be honest. Like, I don't know why he had to stop play. That's the umpire's job, not Chapo's job.
We've got Megs Carpenter in, our top tipper for the Australian Open so far. Shout out to you. Thanks for joining. Saying, JG and Ben, isn't it a psychological strategy to cause a disruption in the flow of the match, so to gain an edge to win?
Well, that's what I thought he was doing. That's what I thought Chapo was doing, because he was getting so easily beaten in that first set. I thought, oh, is this the tactic? Like you're just going to try and complain and try and make a big thing, like try and just get into Rafa's rhythm a bit.
I'm not sure what Meg's talking about, though. I'm not sure if she's talking about Rafa taking so long as a strategy or Chapo moaning in the first set.
Both, maybe.
I'm not sure which way what way she means with it. But if you're talking about Rafa, which I kind of think you might be, then ultimately, if it's within the rules, you can't really say anything. Then it's a good tactic, isn't it? If he's playing everything within the rules and it's psychologically a good strategy to take as long as he can on the points, as long as he's doing it within the 30 seconds, but go to the very end and he's able to win, say, 20 Grand Slams doing it like he has, then you could say, fair play. He's doing a good thing. He's playing within the rules. He's using the rules presented, and yet he's found a way to win and unsettle his opposition. What I would say, grow up, man up, stop crying the next gen, and find a way to beat them.
We know for a fact that Rafael Nadal slows everything down. If there's a fast-paced match and the rallies are heated and they're going,
Djokovic does the similar thing.
Yeah, but this is what they do. That's how they're top players. They bring you into their world. I want it done at my pace, not at your pace. You want to serve 4 aces in 1 minute, you go for it. I'm going to serve my 4 serves in, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 minutes, because I want you to now come into my world and I want to slow everything down back so that we go back to basics, because I'm better at the basics than you are. And that's pretty much how they get all these players. They get into their heads.
Okay, then how can we answer this from Vance? Because we did criticize Tsitsipas for doing the same thing. Why did we go so heavy on Tsitsipas when he was doing it within the rules at the time? And they've changed the rules now for what he was doing. I think we did maybe go a bit harsh on him at the start.
Oh, for sure. I think everybody
did rein it in, and we did understand exactly what we said. And I feel like I remember saying these same phrases. He's doing it within the rules. So what more can we say? The issue with him is it just was happening every single match. After every single time he lost a set, it was becoming so predictable. And the big thing we was talking about was the fact that he's texting his dad during it. That's what the whole rumor was. We don't know if that's true, of course, but that was another dynamic we had altogether. It's not the same case as this.
No, it's against the Krajinovic one.
He was struggling.
That was the one. It was when he was playing Krajinovic, I believe, in one of the tournaments after Roland Garros. And bear in mind, you're playing a 3-set match now. The first set wasn't a long set. The first set was about like 25 minutes or half an hour, and he took a toilet break.
It wasn't in hot conditions. It was just becoming a bit. It was like
obvious.
Tiresome.
No, it was obvious. It was just like, oh, I lost the first set. I'm just going to walk off just so that you have to wait until I come back on.
And they were longer as well. I feel like you're right. There's about 11 minutes. Listen, I don't think you've got really a point on this one, if I'm honest.
I think that it was just.
I can understand what you're saying,
because it was
but it's
clearly
right.
obvious. That was the thing. It was, and as much as it was within the rules, it was just obviously trying to disrupt the opposition in what seems like an underhanded way. And like taking toilet breaks after a few hours on court, I don't think that's that bad. Taking one after half an hour on court, I think, what's wrong with you? You got like medical problem. You need to go to the doctors rather more than anything. That's not like normal to be busting for the loo.
Yeah, and he wasn't sweating that much where he has to change all of his whole kit and attire.
Exactly.
He just got on there. But let's continue reading this. I think we have to keep going down.
Sure.
Shapovalov added, I respect everything that Rafa has done, and I think he's an unbelievable player, but there have got to be some boundaries, some rules set. It's just so frustrating as a player. You feel like you're not just playing against the player, you're playing against the umpires. You're playing against so much more. The first complaint came after Nadal changed his kit at the end of the first set, and Shapovalov remonstrated with Bernardes again before the second game about how long Nadal was taking to serve. I know I took some extra time at the end of the first set because I had to change everything there on the chair in the changeover, said Nadal.
Yeah. Well, yeah, said it's obvious you can't play with clothes in the condition that I was. After that, I was going through all the rules.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. This is the big word that we're coming across is rules, and our rules being broken. And do the rules need to be tightened up? Because all that happened with the Tsitsipas stuff is just meant the rules got tightened up a little bit. If all of these things mean rules get tightened up and we get a stricter set of rules so that everybody knows there's no grey area. We've had too many grey areas over the past month. I don't like these grey areas. We need to clear them up. Whether it be traveling to countries, whether it be getting into tournaments, whether it be spending too long serving, any of these too long in the toilet, have a set time. And then if you take too long, if you go over the time limit, you lose a point. If you go a minute over the time limit, you lose 2 points. Another minute, you lose 3 points. And if you go too long, you've lost the whole game. There you go. Boom. There you go. There's a set rule for you. That type of thing. They won't like it. And look, it will stop pretty soon because you can't afford to lose points in matches, especially.
Are you talking about the toilet break and stuff?
Or anything. I'm saying
because he didn't really. He stayed within the rules here. So
yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. If you have to make real strict like lines in these rules, because when there's grey areas, everybody's trying to push them all the time. Oh, I can have a few 10 seconds extra. I can have that. No, boom, you are 10 seconds over. You lost a point now. So you watch how quick they suddenly come back from the loo, or they'll be running back on court. You see how slow most players walk back on court? They wouldn't be.
We've got Vanchin with another super chat saying, oh, cheers, mate, saying another main complaint is Rafa doesn't play to the speed of the server. That's the main complaint. But ultimately, we all agree Shapo should have been more focused and complain after the match.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree completely with the second statement. And the first one, I don't know. I can't really argue. I can understand what they mean, but that's ultimately down to the umpire to enforce it.
Yeah, it is.
What can I say? I feel like they do buckle a little bit when there's a big player there.
Yeah, they do, for sure.
But you can't really blame sort of Rafa, Djokovic or Federer for that. You
see the backlash they get when they do try and pull up one of the top 3 players, though.
Well, they need to just do it. Like, they need to be a bit stronger. Maybe, hopefully, they can. Because as much as I'm a big Rafa fan, I want them to pull up the big 3 players and just be a bit braver.
Because I've seen it once.
We saw it recently, didn't we, with Federer against Cilic? Do you remember?
Well,
the umpire pulled him up.
Yeah, well, I've seen it in matches.
The Roland Garros.
I've seen one in Roland Garros. I've seen another one with Federer where I believe he was serving or something like that, and it was getting close to like a set point, and he just hit the ball into the floor. That was all. And then they went, "Oh, warning, Roger Federer." And he was like, "Are you really not going to talk to me?" And then just warm it, and then it just put him off for that. But Federer confronts the umpire. Then he doesn't just accept the warning, and that's probably what they're worried about. Is now, oh no, I'm on Roger Federer's bad side now. He'll probably say to someone somewhere, "I don't want that umpire again umpiring me," and this type of thing. Could it be costing umpires jobs if they make bad decisions or against the big 3? We don't know. This is the thing. That's probably what they're scared of, though.
Yeah. Let's keep going.
So moving. Oh, that's the end of that. Sorry, apologies. Right. So this is just a picture of Chapo with a very confused face, like, what are you doing? Do something.
Yeah.
Moving on to this one. This one is just saying, oh, well, yeah, he said this is what Chapo was saying. It just feels like you're not just playing against the player, you're playing against the umpires, you're playing against so much more, alluding to the corrupt comment, I'm guessing, that he was bringing out. This was the other bit just regarding the toilet break and the medical timeout, showing how long it was taking. As you can see there, it was 7 minutes total, which I believe was fine. That was the statement, the full statement from Rafael Nadal in his post-match press conference, saying, I think he's a good guy with lots of talent, the talent to win multiple Grand Slams. In no way do I want to get in an argument with him, but I think he is wrong. Pretty blunt.
Yeah, I just want to read out a super chat off stream from Meg here. Appreciate that.
Cheers, Meg.
I think she's saying Atin Vanch. I think we've got it in the chat as well. This is the super chat. She's done it twice. Can you see it? Here we go. So, yes, ironically, Chapo shot himself in the foot by complaining, which causes Chapo to lose focus and not spend time on readjusting his own game. Yeah, spot on.
I totally agree. I think he had the opportunity. The main thing you got to look at in this whole thing is Chapo ended up losing the match, and now this is the focus after the match, rather than him focusing during the match and winning the match, which was a winnable match for him. He could have won that 5th set easily, in my opinion. All he had to do was focus. Lost focus.
Yeah, it was just like a lapse on that one game as well. It really cost him.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah, this one's a good one. Do you want to read this one?
Yeah, so Rafael Nadal, the real true is the 2 months ago, we didn't know if we're able to be back on tour at all. So here I am. For me, it's just a present of life that I am here playing tennis again, and I just enjoy it. I think it means the real truth is that it's just 2 months ago, I didn't know. But yeah, it's a big point. Like, Rafa's come out a few times. He genuinely did think there was questions being asked about his career in tennis. It could have all been over. We don't realize how lucky we are to be seeing him in 2022. It seemed touch and go that he was going to sort of pack up the racket and stop playing and retire. He's had so many injuries. He's battled through so many. This seemed like the final one where he couldn't really get through. He's got a lot of painkiller to help him play with a foot. He's then had COVID on top of it. And yeah, I'm just so grateful that we still get to see him playing at this level and fighting and showing the spirit, which I think only champions can possess, to get through in 5 sets. And this is what I feel a lot of the younger players need to look upon and take from these drill champions. Try and get some of this resilience and mental strength, which, say, a Rafael Nadal has. And listen, you don't even need to be a good tennis player because you'll be able to win things with just this alone. I'm telling you. It's the recipe for success in life.
I totally believe the fact he just wants to go out and enjoy himself as well. You see that he is, when he's playing his best tennis, there's no one freer on the court than Rafa, I don't think. Right. Yeah. That one was just confirming it was heat stroke rather than people were saying stomach.
Yeah, we wasn't sure what was going on, was we? We wasn't sure if it's an injury. I'm so pleased it doesn't seem like it's anything
more abdominals
than just heat stroke. Yeah.
That's what it seemed like at the time. He was grabbing his abs and that type of thing. And it was a little bit worrying. I was hoping it wasn't something to do with, like, because it was going to make him serve worse. So his serve did noticeably get worse during that period. But yeah, it wasn't anything to do with abdominal issues. This one, quite an interesting one. Down here, you can see this part first. It says Nadal is the only player remaining in the men's draw who has played all of his matches on the Rod Laver Arena. Berrettini has done so 3 times, and the second seed Medvedev only twice. And then we've got this reply to this saying, because Nadal is getting the Federer treatment and Medvedev is getting the Djokovic treatment? ? For years at slams, generally speaking, it's been the case that favoritism and privilege plays into scheduling, not ranking.
Listen, I don't know. I think you're trying to bring this up to wind me up. I don't buy into that at all. I think
it's true a bit.
Well, you think Djokovic doesn't get favourable treatment at times?
No, it's not now. I'm saying in the past, when he wasn't the big deal that he is these days, he probably was being plopped on the other court. It's like, oh, Don't we get Federer? We'll get Rafa on this one, and you can go on the other one for now. It's taken a long time for him.
They're not talking about Djokovic, and they're talking about him now.
It's taken a long time for him to receive the respect he deserves. That's the thing for Djokovic. He's had to work his socks off to gain the respect of everyone around the world. And credit to him, he finally he's got to the top of the game, and he's on the pinnacle of doing, well, the impossible, what everyone thought, which was overtake both Rafa and Roger. But obviously we'll have to wait and see if that actually comes to fruition. But
yeah, what I want to talk about is the bottom bit here with the Berrettini. So Nadal is the only player remaining in the men's draw who's played all of his matches on Rod Laver Arena. Berrettini has done so 3 times, and second seed Medvedev only twice. I'm not sure what's going on with this. Why is Berrettini? This is just, I need to get this off my chest. He seems to be so much more popular by the Medvedev. And the reason I say this, you've seen his entourage when he's off the court and he's behind the things. There's about 50 man following him around the courts.
We love him.
And someone made a really good point. Yeah, you look at Berrettini's style of play. If he looked like Jack Sock, would he be as popular as he is?
Well,
I've got to put it out there. It just seems to be Berrettini gets so much, and I'm an Italian guy, half Italian. I like Berrettini. I want him to do well, but because of the way he looks, people generally warm to him a lot more. I think he is that sort of star package on sort of, we talk about it a lot on the women's tour, but I feel like it's the same with the men's as well. Berrettini, because of his package and the way he is treated differently. And you can even say that with this situation. Like, they obsess so much over him. His style of play on tennis is actually pretty boring. I'm going to be honest. He's a big server. He doesn't really rally too much. His backhand's a bit soft. I know John was saying he's Mr. Consistent, and I agree that. But sometimes that is a bit boring, someone who's very consistent. Some people say it's great, and it's a tribute. And listen, I can understand that. But in terms of the beautiful game, I'm not sure he exactly has mastered it, but he's a pretty good-looking guy. So that sort of helps him out.
There goes,
and he gets all these handouts.
John says, I don't like good-looking guys due to envy. And it's why I like you two so much.
Cheers, John.
I like that one, John.
That's why we have you on your own side.
Damn it, you stole it. You stole it. I was going to say that as well. But yeah, I think that it's the same in women's and men's tennis. Unfortunately, it is not just the world of sport. It is the world of celebrity as well. You got to remember that. These guys are sponsorship deals waiting to be signed, wandering around. And you look at someone like Berrettini, he looks like if he wasn't playing tennis, he'd probably be modeling some sort of, I don't know, catwalk or something. And the same with Raducanu, people like this. They're at the top of the sport. If you're in the top 10, or if you're close to the top 10 and get into the finals or winning Grand Slams, yeah, there's going to be people all following you around. And that's just the way it is. Unfortunately, that's the way the world. Sex sells. That's it.
And on this point of, did we want to see Krejci Medvedev on Rod Laver Arena? Yes, I wanted to. I think I would have loved that.
Yeah.
I think he deserved it, if I'm honest. So I can understand what you're saying, 12 travel 21 with the first points, but I feel like Med should get a chance. Why has he not played on Rod Laver?
I think Medvedev should
He's
play
the
all
number
of his
one
matches.
seed. He just won the last Grand Slam.
He should play all of his matches on Rod Laver. That's what I'm saying. I don't think he should play any of them not on there, because I don't think if Djokovic was there, he would play all of his.
I'd say he's the best player in the world right now. I think Kyrgios said the same thing. You can say that Djokovic is very close. Medvedev, for me, on the hard courts, is the best player in the world.
Yeah.
Why do we not see the best playing on Rod Laver?
I totally agree. I think he should have played all of his matches, because you know, if Djokovic was number one seed, which Medvedev essentially is, but Djokovic isn't there, Djokovic would be playing all of his matches on Rod Laver. That's guaranteed.
We've got Megan saying, if sex sells, then Milky Silky will make a lot of money.
Was he selling himself?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, let's move on to let's try and get through some the remaining ones of these. That one's quite a nice one from Sasha Osmo saying, it's a quote from Nadal, I don't believe that my happiness, my future happiness, is going to depend on if I achieve one more Grand Slam than the others, or if the others achieve more Grand Slams than me.
What do you make of this first? And I'll say my opinion.
Is it the truth? This is what I want to say first. I actually think, I don't know if it actually does bother him that much if he's going to be known as the most Grand Slams of all time. I think that he's just happy with his injuries all the time that Rafa has, the more tennis he can play and he can stay on tour for, I think that's just what it is. Like keeping his career going as long as possible. You can tell he loves it. That's who he lives, breathes tennis.
So you would say he's a very humble guy, Nadal, and his priority is staying fit and healthy and playing as much tennis as possible.
I think so. I think he'll just play as many tournaments as he wants. I think it's nice to have 20 Grand Slams, but I don't think deep down he probably thinks that he's going to be considered the greatest of all time because Djokovic has every other record.
Okay, well, this is where we disagree. And that's why I wanted you to start off first. My opinion, I think he's talking total rubbish altogether. I think he does care massively about it. The moment he got 20 Grand Slams, he had it on his shoes in the next match he played with number 20 and Rafael Nadal with the dates. It doesn't matter if he got sent them or not. He's lying here. This is my verdict. I think, really, he's happy that he's fit. I understand all what you're saying, but he is a champion. And first and foremost, he wants the most Grand Slam titles. That is a massive thing he thinks about. I'm sure every night he goes to bed, he thinks about it. And that's why he keeps playing. I think with all of the issues he's had, he probably would have retired a little bit sooner if he didn't have Djokovic and Federer pushing on. And I can say the same about the other two as well. So I disagree. Listen, I disagree with what he's saying big time. I think he's just saying that to sort of play the act of the humble guy, which I know he is. But ultimately, he wants more Grand Slams. He's only doing this to relieve the pressure off him. So on this one, I disagree completely with what he's saying. His happiness is going to be, of course, he gets a lot of happiness of what he's been able to achieve in the sport. But the big thing, I reckon his future happiness is going to be dependent a little bit on the Grand Slams because he's going to be remembered for how many he won as well. And he's going to want that. It's going to be every debate when these guys retire is going to be about the Grand Slams. He just wants to. He wants the most. Let's be honest.
The thing that will answer this question for both of us, because we probably will only find out from him himself, is if Djokovic overtakes him, will Rafa retire? Or will Rafa retire before Djokovic? Or will he just make sure he stays on the scene as long as Djokovic, just in case Djokovic is trying to overtake him all the time? Because if Djokovic stays on the tour another 2 or 3 years, guaranteed, if he's that passionate about having the most slams, Rafa's not going anywhere until Djokovic retires.
In theory, Ben, what you're saying is great, but if he's got an injury and he's struggling to play and he's not competing, is he going to do what Andy Murray? Is he going to do what Andy Murray does? But he can't reach the levels like say Andy Murray right now. Is he going to do that? Don't think he will, personally.
He's been injured for 20 years. He's got the same injury for 20 years.
Been able to, we're talking about, Ben. He's been able to win slams with it, though.
Yeah,
he's got to the point now where it's debilitating. Now it's debilitating, where it's affecting.
If the draw opens up, a la this tournament, anything can happen.
We've got Frey Rax here saying he hates losing so much, and it shows. If you're already satisfied with what you have, you might as well not play anymore. Agreed completely. That's why this statement I don't really buy into, like you have, to be honest.
I think that he actually just loves playing tennis, and it's just part and parcel of his life. A lot of these players, they wouldn't be as happy if they weren't playing tennis, and I think he gets so much joy from going on court and just having just the fans there, and the fans are back as well. You got to remember, you play tennis without fans.
I understand what you're saying. I think you're right to a level with some of what you're saying, but I do think that the Grand Slams is a massive thing behind it all, and that's going to be something what's going to help his happiness. Let's be honest. Let's move on.
So yeah, I don't think we can go into the Grand Slam debate now. Not this far into this part. Right, this one. An interesting one. This is from Alan, just saying Nadal doesn't get away with as much BS as Djokovic, but regardless, Shapo needs to learn not to be a sore loser and take up these conversations in private with the right people if he believes the top guys get too much special treatment. I agree.
Yeah, moving on.
Moving on. This one, this is just an old tweet. I just thought I'd just go through to see if Federer had any special treatment in the past, and just always interesting to see some quotes. I can't remember which tournament this was even alluding to, but you can see it was a very sarcastic response from Federer about him receiving special treatment. He said, "Yes, I did ask to play on Wednesday. I get what I want, remember? And my favorite thing was to be here at 11, so I could wait all day." So that goes to show Federer sick of being asked if he was receiving special treatment of scheduling of matches and that type of thing.
It's pretty funny. I must admit, it's just a bit of comedy, isn't it?
Going down there, this one was just brought up just because I thought it was funny. Greg Rosetsky believes Roger Federer deserves to get special treatment. Well, there you go. Greg's spoken, so I guess that's gospel.
I don't know what he's talking about, but yeah.
Right, moving on. Oh, this one just plopped in there. I think it was just one of your ones you sent me from earlier.
Well, read it. That's somewhere interesting. Nadal is. I saw Nadal, so I thought let's read it. He's 263-7 when winning the first set of majors. 231-2 when winning the first 2 sets. Always worth repeating.
Well, that's what we have repeated incredible. It is amazing.
Yeah, so one of them 2 was obviously last year, 12 months ago, when he lost to Tsitsipas.
Yeah.
So can anyone in the chat remember the other one? Let us know when Rafa was up 2 sets and then lost the match. I'm sure someone's going to get it.
Yeah,
I think I know, but I'm seeing if someone can say.
Oh, there you go. Fanini at the US Open in 2015. Quick off the mark, 12 travel. I like it.
Yeah. John was second as well. 12 travel, 21. I don't know how he does it. He's got like an onboard computer. I would like to have him on the podcast at one point because I think he's very knowledgeable.
Yeah, this one was just right at the end, just because it was a little bit of a funny one, a little bit harsh as well. But on Shapo, it says, whatever your opinion on medical timeouts, Nadal's pace of play, etc., it is what it is. And it's been like this for a long time. Special treatment will be changing things. Now, just for Shapo. You want the special treatment. Nobody beat the beep out of you despite releasing Night Train. You're welcome. Well, they've gone a bit ham on Shapo there, haven't they? Poor old Shapo.
Poor Shapo. It's a bit harsh, but
music attacks now just for calling Nadal out.
Yeah, listen, the music's terrible. He should focus more on the tennis, but I think I don't want to be too harsh on him because I thought he played a really good match. I was really impressed with his level. I think regardless of what happened now, he's lost, he's going home. He's had a brilliant Australian Open, beating Zverev in straight sets. I think that was really something we was talking about. And then pushing Nadal right to the wire. Watch out. It could be a really big year for Shapo. Hopefully he can kick on and continue these performances. I would like to see him play a little bit more smart. That's the only thing I would suggest. If he can increase his intelligence when playing, he's going to be a real threat because ability-wise, there's not many better. I'm going to keep saying it. I think he is right up there. I know we talk about how Basilashvili won, who's got so much ability as well. Shapo, for me, on ability alone, I don't want to go too crazy, but I think he could be like a top 5 player. Yeah, with that serve, the way he can serve, the backhand as well. He can hit winners off both sides, the power, the volleying, the movement. I think he's a top 5 player. If you just look at his ability-wise.
Ability only, yeah. He's got to change his mindset for me because, like I've said it a few times already, like some of his post-match press conferences, he doesn't really seem that bothered that he's gone out of tournaments. He just says, like, oh, I'm just happy. I'm living the dream. I'm a professional tennis player. Like that type of attitude doesn't really speak future world #1 or like that or future Grand Slam champion if you're just saying... It speaks more like Nick Kyrgios vibes for me than it does Grand Slam winner. But what do I know?
Anyway, you got any more?
That's all. That's all, folks. No, that's all I've got.
Yeah, so that was a pretty long one. I didn't expect to talk for almost an hour on it, but there was plenty to cover. Thanks for everyone who joined us. If you haven't already, please give us a like on this video. Subscribe if you're new. We're going to be back for Alizé Cornet, the sort of surprise package on the women's. The story which not many people are talking about, but we need to cover Alizé Cornet at least once this event. It has been a special tournament for her. I think we're both going to be secretly kind of cheering her on against
Danielle Collins.
So make sure to join us very soon for that. If you haven't already, give us a like on this video as well. I don't think we've got many. We've not asked during. That's my fault. But make sure to like the video, subscribe if you're new. We've got to catch up John. We can't have him getting more likes than us.
I know. Come on. Let's do this. John, the Silk Report's overtaking the normal podcast. He's going to have his own spin-off channel soon if we don't watch out. Before we go as well, we should probably mention, obviously, the next Grand Slam is on the horizon as well. There's been news coming out as well, potentially now. It's like, will Djokovic go? Will he not go? There's new stuff in place that he potentially will be going now. It is Roland Garros. We got 2 tickets that 4 days at Roland Garros. They are up for grabs. There's a link in the description. There's a link posted in the live chat as well. Here's how you enter.
Yeah, I don't think we've got the button, Ben, unfortunately.
Oh, do we not? Oh, no, terrible.
I did try and message you before you were saying it. If you can maybe add it right now, that would be great. Yeah. But yeah, as Ben's saying, we do have some tickets for Roland Garros. We are kind of running down the time with that. 6 days to go. So make sure to enter if you haven't already. We were speaking with the organisers today. Yes. And for the winner, I'm sure there's people who have entered. If you are the lucky winner, make sure to tune in on the first podcast we do, because we need to speed up the process sort of very soon into February. We need to get all of your details and send over the tickets to you pretty much instantly. So hopefully we will hold them, obviously, for sort of a 24-hour period, but we do need you to speed along the process as well. So if you are the lucky winner, we need to reach out to you ASAP. Of course, not a bad problem to have, because you'll be going to Roland Garros and then you can select whichever 4 days you want. So it doesn't have to be the final, but ultimately I feel like a lot of people would be selecting the dates towards the back end of the event.
Yeah, for sure, mate. I don't think I'm going to be able to upload it in time. I think we just wrap this one up. If you want to be able to enter, go onto our homepage. If you want to see the promo video, it's the main video on our homepage as well. But we posted the links in the live chat in the description. Yeah, just make sure you enter. It's one that can't be missed.
Yeah, exactly that. Cheers, guys, and see you later on for a watch along of Danielle Collins, Alizé Cornet.
Oh, yes. See you then.